Being unaware of legal requirements does not exempt you from their legal ramifications. Select the correct business structure for your venture, as this will affect how you are taxed, your personal liability, and how investors view your company. Protect your intellectual property via trademarks, copyrights, and patents. Draft and sign proper contracts and agreements with your co-founders, employees, customers, and investors. Follow employment laws and be aware of wages, working hours, and health and safety regulations. Comply with data protection and privacy laws like the GDPR of the EU or the California Consumer Privacy Act. Stay compliant with corporate regulations and do not miss annual filings or any other filings required in your jurisdiction. Hi everyone, this is Vivek Shrivastava. Welcome to my channel. Today I have for you a lessons learned video that covers an important and challenging aspect of your startup, the legal aspect of things. I will speak to you about various legal matters that you should consider and take action on so that you do not get caught up in legal problems later on down the road. In various videos that I have already posted, I have spoken on and off about various legal matters and have advised you to discuss various aspects of your startup with your legal team. Today, I will go into more depth in all these legal matters, and you should be aware of and should be taking action on and managing properly. First, the correct business structure for your venture. Depending on your location, should you form a limited liability company or a private limited? If you are in the United States, should you form an LLC, an S Corp, or a C Corp? Each structure has different tax implications, liability protections, and requirements for ownership. The decision you make here will affect how you're taxed and how much personal liability you carry and how investors view your company. If your long-term goal is to have a larger company buy you out, then you will want a business structure that will support that. During buyout, companies conduct many audits and checks, and the correct company structure will greatly help in all of that. So consider all this carefully and set up your business structure accordingly. Next, intellectual property. Typically, this will be a very significant part of your startup. For software-specific startups, until you build up a significant user base, this will be your entire value proposition. Even for non-software startups, there will likely be a good amount of intellectual property as part of whatever it is that you may be doing. IP can be handled via trademarks, copyrights, and patents, and I will speak briefly on all of these now. Trademarks. A trademark is a symbol, word, or phrase legally registered to represent a company or product, distinguishing it from others in the market. While trademarks provide crucial brand protection, several challenges and pitfalls can arise. Securing a trademark involves navigating a complex legal process, including ensuring that the mark is unique and not too similar to existing ones, which could lead to disputes or rejections. Enforcement is another challenge. Once registered, companies must actively monitor and protect their trademark from infringement. Failing to use the mark consistently or allowing unauthorized use can weaken its legal standing. Additionally, trademarks are geographically limited, meaning founders must consider international registrations to protect their brand globally. The tricky thing about trademarks is that another company with a similar sounding trademark could legally contest your trademark application, even though you have a different name, but simply rhyme with that company. An example of two companies with similar or rhyming names is PayPal and WePay. Both are in the financial technology space and provide online payment solutions, making the rhyming even more noticeable within the same industry. In this case, whoever filed for trademark first will get the trademark, and the second company will have a challenging time getting the trademark. Companies can negotiate a coexist agreement with each other in cases like these. But all this just goes to show how important it is to get your trademark handled quickly and efficiently. Copyrights protect original works of authorship, such as literature, music, art, and software, by granting creators exclusive rights to use and distribute their work. While copyrights provide crucial protection, several challenges and pitfalls exist. One major issue is providing ownership, especially if a work isn't formally registered. Without registration, it can be difficult to enforce copyright claims in court. Another challenge is determining what constitutes fair use, as this can lead to legal disputes over whether a work has been unlawfully copied. Infringement in the digital age is also rampant, with unauthorized copies of content easily shared online. Additionally, copyright protection is limited by time, eventually allowing works to enter the public domain. My suggestion is that you copyright your specification documents in your country of incorporation as literary documents, so that you have that much protection at least. A patent grants an inventor the exclusive rights to their invention, preventing others from making, using, or selling it for a set period. While patents are essential for protecting innovation, they come with several challenges and pitfalls. The application process is complex, time-consuming, and expensive, often requiring legal expertise. Patents must meet strict criteria such as novelty and non-obviousness, which can be difficult to prove. Even after securing a patent, enforcing it is costly, with potential legal battles over infringement. Additionally, patents are geographically limited, so protecting an invention globally requires filing in multiple jurisdictions. The patent's exclusivity also expires after a set period, allowing competitors to eventually use the invention freely. My suggestion is that you do not bother with a patent unless you have really invented something totally new that the world has never seen before. Contracts and agreements. Every relationship you form as a startup founder, whether with co-founders, employees, customers, or investors, should be backed by clear written contracts. A handshake is not legally binding and will not protect you if something goes wrong. Draft an operating agreement with your co-founders that outlines everyone's roles, responsibilities, and ownership stakes. For employees and contractors, make sure you have solid contracts in place with confidentiality and non-compete clauses if needed. And don't forget, customer and vendor contracts should spell out terms of service, liability, and payment conditions. Most importantly, get a non-disclosure agreement contract made and have everyone associated with your startup sign it. It is always a good idea to keep things secret as much as possible until you're ready to release your product or service to the end users. Employment laws. Make sure that you comply with employment laws in your jurisdiction, even if you only have a few employees or contractors. Be aware of wages, working hours, and health and safety regulations that should be followed. Make sure you are classifying workers correctly. There's a big legal difference between an employee and a contractor. Misclassifying workers could lead to fines or lawsuits. Also, establish an employee handbook to clearly outline your company policies for its employees. Data protection laws. In today's digital world, startups often handle sensitive customer data. That means you need to comply with data protection and privacy laws like GDPR or the California Consumer Privacy Act, CCPA. Even if your startup isn't based in those regions, countries all over the world are slowly but surely setting up data protection laws that more or less match these famous legal standards. Therefore, it makes sense for you to be proactive and at least partially, if not fully, be compliant with these laws regardless of where you are incorporated. Make sure your end users can opt out anytime they want to and can also be completely invisible from other users if they so choose. These are two basic privacy laws that all companies are almost universally expected to follow. Create a privacy policy for your app or website and make sure it's easily accessible. Implement strong cybersecurity practices and ensure that all customer data is handled securely. If you plan to scale globally, talk to a lawyer about international data compliance. Getting funded or being bought out sounds great, but all this comes with its own legal challenges. Whether it's a seed round, Series A, or angel investment, make sure you're compliant with securities laws. When the time comes, work with legal professionals to draft investment agreements and ensure you are in compliance with securities regulations. This includes deciding how much equity to give away and how to structure your investment deal. You don't want any surprises later when you start scaling. Finally, you need to keep your startup compliant with corporate regulations. Missing annual filings or required documentation can lead to penalties or even worse, the dissolution of your company. Create a compliance calendar to track filing deadlines like annual reports, franchise taxes, and renewals for business licenses. Stay in touch with your legal counsel to ensure you don't miss any key filings. By addressing these legal issues early on, you're setting up your startup for long-term success. I know legal stuff isn't the most exciting part of being a founder, but trust me, it's one of the most important aspects of the journey. So that's all I had for the topic of legal essentials. In this video, I wanted to emphasize that being on top of the various legal issues and taking action proactively could make the difference between staying in business or not. Being legally compliant isn't a luxury, it's a necessity, and being unaware of legal requirements does not exempt you from their ramifications. I hope you found the content useful. Please comment below and provide your feedback. See you all next time. Take care and good luck, everyone.